Sis, you believe that when we honor God with what we have, He's going to give us a lot more. And I believe with that too. Let's break that down. And you talk about this in your book and so many other things, but I really want to just land this conversation. I wish I had some more time with you, but I got to respect your time and respect our listeners' time because I told them I'm going to give them a good 35 minutes. But what does honoring God look like for you and your husband on a practical level? And then practical and then on a spiritual. Let's go practical. What does that look like on a practical level for you and your husband?
So for me, I've learned that worship and living for God is not just the song you sing. It's not only the time you live in church. It's how you are a good steward of what He has given you. And so for me, that is how I honor the Lord with what I have. I don't treat it recklessly. Like if you come in my house, you may see some clothes laying around. But to me, how I treat my house is also me saying, God, I appreciate you for allowing me to have these things.
Wow.
And so that too, and my car is junky sometimes, but I'm going to clean it out after a while because I'll get convicted because I shouldn't be allowing things to just, pile up. So it has everything to do with like how we do for Christmas. Yeah, if I give you a gift, if I know what I spent on that gift, and the truth of the matter is God paid a price for you to have the life that you live.
Facts.
But if I give you a good gift, bro, I'm going to ask you, how them shoes doing? I ain't seen you warm in a minute. That was, and my Nana, she used to say, if you don't like it, now give it back to me. And so I understand. So speaking of a practical way, I think it has to do with tithing. If that's not giving, God, your 10%. And I read not too long ago where there's a leader who gives God his 90% and he lives off of the 10.
Yeah.
But to speak to practical, it could also be how you are generous and sharing those gifts. That is an overflow because He said, I'll give you a blessing that it's going to be hard for you to have it all to yourself. You will have to share it. Yeah. And so I think, too, with the choices, because I believe in sowing seeds into fertile ground. So let me stop there because I could go. But those are some practical ways. It's just pretty much the mentality and how you treat, the things that God has given you. How are you saving your money? And I think the emergency fund is not just, or even the ways of saving. It's not just because I want to be rich, but it too is a way of saying, God, this is what I'm doing with it. And there's stories in the Bible where He said, tell me where you put them talents I gave you. You ain't did nothing with that. So I think that is what's practical for me.
I told y'all. She said, I'm gonna stop. And she went right back into it. She a preacher.
I'm trying to work on it. I'm sorry. I'm trying to work on it.
Hey, I'm sitting like, go ahead. You ain't done yet. I know there's some more in there. Go ahead and get it. Say, go ahead and let the Lord use you. But this is why you're not perfect. You have things that you're working on, but I believe this is why God is blessing you because you have evolved and you are evolving. Like me, I have evolved and I am evolving. And I'm learning to be a better steward of the things, this shirt on me, this mic that I'm on, the camera that you're on right now, the team, this table, this office, this building that I'm in, Dave Ramsey, none of this is ours. All of it is God's. We are just called to be good managers of it. Yes. And I share this story always, to not to be boastful, but a lot of people say, Anthony, living a debt-free life, you can't enjoy life, it's going to be boring. And no, what I really do believe is I remember driving my old school car. And Kierra, I would wash that car 2 times a week. Everyone said, well, why are you washing this car 2 times a week? I said, because it's my dream car. What is the ugly car? And I'm like, well, to you it's ugly. But to me, I want to show God that if He gives me the resources to purchase my dream car, I can be good with the few things, the small things. So when He does give me the car that costs me a lot of money, He will know that I'll be a good steward of it. When I go from this apartment to my dream house, He will know that I will be a good steward of it. When I go from being single, check this out, to being married, He will know that I will be a good steward of it because I'm being a good steward over my life. I can pay my bills. I can provide for myself. And so I think a lot of people get it confused on the basic level. Like, y'all, just be faithful over the few. And when God sees that you could be a good steward over that, when you're a good steward over your single season, when you're a good steward over this car, when you're a good steward over your job, Don't ask God to make you an owner of a company when you can't even be a good steward of your job. And so on the practical level, sis, you speaking good. Now, I'm driving my dream car. And I don't wash it 2 times a week because I ain't got that much time. But, it's clean. It stays clean. But hey, Kierra, real quickly before we leave, what are some other things you talk about in your book outside of money so that people can know exactly what they can expect to get inside your book?
Oh, man. First of all, you talking about me giving this good word. I'm over here trying to hold my tears back like, oh, my God. Oh, that was so good. I'm over here trying to stop the ugly cry.
Lord Jesus,
but,
you're good.
It was so good. And I just want to say I'm a fan of you, and I thank you, Anthony, for what you do for just people. It's just amazing. So thank you, because you give us so many answers that maybe our family can't give us. So I'm sorry. I just had to throw that out there. I'm a fan. That was my fan moment. Okay, let me keep it moving. So I have in here God as my agent. You just spoke about it, how, when you show what you're doing, how you treating it, God will reward you, if you remain faithful. And I talk about pick up the pieces and grab the glue, doing it God's way. Because for a long time, I was doing it my way. And that's both just living, outside of his will. And then things turned around. I was like, I'm going to actually try it your way. I talk about not comparing yourself to the other woman. And I talk about relationships when you have to make decisions, when there are drain-like relationships versus fountain-like relationships. Yeah. The fountain is refreshing. The drain, it drains, and it only keeps the same water right there.
Wow.
So that was just a few.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.